And then we go back to CNN. Because Ungar-Sargon is another right-wing buffoon and a talking head for the Republican Party. And I think CNN gets some really bad Republicans to go on there. Sometimes they get some good ones. There's a lot of bad ones out there. And I want you to listen to Ungar-Sargon, who goes on usually at night on some of those panels, and that's what took place last night. Listen to what she said about iPhones. I was unaware of this, that iPhones were $1,500 and now they're $3,000. I haven't heard this before. But again, spreading misinformation, and she's talking about the price of gas and the price of food, yet she supports Donald Trump, and in the first 3 months, gas prices are up across the country. Inflation is up, and she's spreading more misinformation. Have a listen to this buffoon.
I just want to make a quick point about inflation.
To do that.
We act like, inflation of all things are equal, and they are not equal. It is not the same if a person who can afford a new iPhone every year has to pay $3,000 for it instead of $1,500, as it is if
double the price?
As it is if a working class person can't afford gas and food. Those are not the same.
That's true.
We cannot measure those as the
that
same.
is true, but
that's not a
okay.
priority
Hold
for
on.
this president.
It is true that the cost of an iPhone is maybe not as important as the cost of gas and food, but the cost of food is not going down either.
But the cost of gas is going down. The cost of gas has gone down. Yes.
What is she talking about? What is she is there anybody out there that believes her? iPhones were $1,500, now they're $3,000. Let's blame Pete Buttigieg for that. By the way, she's blaming about the cost of groceries, yet groceries are up under Donald Trump, and he campaigned that he was going to lower the price of groceries. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up, how ignorant this woman is, or at least maybe lying, maybe not ignorant, but just intentionally lying in front of a national audience on CNN. And here's where it continues, because she says she has a pro tip for Democrats, because she's going after Larry David and the amount of money he is worth. Oh, boy, do I have a lot to say about this. So if you don't know, Larry David was going after Bill Maher the other day, as was I. But I think Larry David's message was a little bit stronger than I, because he had made the case that Bill Maher had dinner with. I didn't go that far, but certainly I've been on it with Bill Maher, because Bill Maher was the guy who said, well, I had a 2.5-hour dinner with Donald Trump, and he was very gracious to me, so we don't really have a lunatic in the White House. He just plays one on TV, which is, by the way, a ridiculous thing to say. The real Donald Trump is the guy that attacks women on looks. The real Donald Trump is the guy that attacks our brave men and women in uniform. The real Donald Trump is the guy that has unprotected sex with a porn star and raw dogs her for 13 seconds 2 weeks after Barron was born. The real Donald Trump is the guy who brags about sexual assault. That's the real Donald Trump. So what? So he was nice to Bill Maher for 2.5 hours. Bill Maher knows who the real Donald Trump is, but he's lying to his listeners. And he's lying because he wants that MAGA base to do his show, because he wants the ratings. Larry David was right in criticizing Bill Maher, who was a two-faced phony prick, is what he is. But listen to Ungar-Sargon on CNN yesterday attacking Larry David for all the money he has. Have a listen to this.
And I just have a pro tip for any Democrats who are thinking about winning back the working class, those people who make under $100,000 a year, who a majority of whom voted for Trump. You should have a visceral disgust for someone like Larry David, who's worth $400 million, sitting there and sneering and smearing the hardest working Americans for refusing to co-sign their own disinheritance. That's effectively what they are doing when these millionaires come out here and call Trump Hitler. They are calling working class Americans Nazis because they chose the person they thought would give their children back the future they were promised by this country. And it just has to stop. And you know what? Honestly, I don't care if the Democrats get this or don't, but they should get this, because this is a big part of why they have lost, because they have these rich people. He is so wealthy. I mean,
they're all wealthy.
Donald Trump is a billionaire. Pardon the Camp Auschwitz guy. He had Nick Fuentes and Kanye West over for Thanksgiving dinner. He's not exactly Nazi averse.
He's also the father-in-law and grandfather of Jewish children. Come on, Trump has done more for Jewish people. I'm
Trump has a long record of anti-Semitic comments, too. He's got a long record of it.
You know what? Actions speak louder than words. He may have said some stupid stuff in the past. What he's been doing, cracking down on Harvard with their anti-Semitic policies.
That is a lie. It's not you know it's not about anti-Semitism.
Alan Dershowitz, who was there for 50 years.
Alan Dershowitz has punched his own ticket, my friend.
Yeah, Alan Dershowitz, the guy that was on Epstein Island. By the way, I'm Jewish. Donald Trump hasn't done anything for me. In fact, he said because I didn't vote for him, I need to get my head examined. Okay? Just because he coddles and does a circle jerk with Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't mean he's doing a lot for Israel. And he's certainly not doing a lot for Jewish people in this country. I think that's a load of nonsense and crap. And the fact that Ungar-Sargon, who obviously is so partisan and such a hack on CNN, she's talking about rich people. Well, here's one big fundamental difference. There's probably thousands of fundamental differences between Larry David and Donald Trump. Larry David, who I'm actually a fan of Larry David. You see, Larry David made millions and millions of dollars making people laugh. Donald Trump made millions of dollars conning people his entire life. Do we understand the difference there? And if this ignorant woman wants to talk about money, let's talk about money. Donald Trump's administration is worth somewhere along the lines of around $60 billion. That does not include Elon Musk. Can you please name me another administration that was worth that much money, and all the billionaires that are in Donald Trump's administration right now, if she really wants to talk about money? You want to know the people that Donald Trump hangs out with? It's not everyday people. It's not people that are working paycheck to paycheck. It's people that are living at Mar-a-Lago, people that are visiting Mar-a-Lago, middle-aged and older white Republican elitists. Those are the people that Donald Trump surrounds himself with. So if this imbecile named Ungar-Sargon on CNN wants to talk about money and the rich, then maybe she should talk a little bit more about Donald Trump and the crypto scandal that he's got going on and all the scandals he's done his entire life, whether it be Trump University or all the businesses that have shut down or have filed for bankruptcy and all the cons that he has done. You see, I haven't seen any Democrats in office that were selling Bibles made in China for $3, selling them in this country for $60. You want to talk about all the con man himself, the con in chief, who was charging people upwards of $1 million to pray with him. That's all this man does is care about money. He doesn't care about his friends. He doesn't care about his family. He only cares about his very close tech billionaires who donated a lot of money to his campaign, and he only cares about himself. If you want to talk about net worth and how much Donald Trump is worth. Oh, but he doesn't accept a salary. Really? His net worth has grown 5 times, and that's being nice, since he became president that first time around. The hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars that he received in donations that he kept and put in his back pocket. But she wants to talk about money? Give me a break. And this guy Fogelsang, who was on this panel yesterday, did a really good job, and again, destroying Ungar-Sargon, who was talking about we need to trust Donald Trump. We need to trust this man. America needs to trust Donald Trump. And Fogelsang just absolutely destroys her in this part of the segment.
Relying on what Trump says?
Listen.
China's side.
I don't know. How do you not trust China but trust Donald Trump? His planet. Yes, very
I
much.
think that's really sad that you trust our greatest adversary more than the president of the United States, who was elected by over 80 million of your fellow
The
Americans.
majority of people who the majority of people who showed up to vote voted against him in 2016, 2020, and 2024. There's no mandate to speak of. I don't trust China, but there is no reason.
You dispute that he won the election?
No, I tell you that the majority of folks who showed up to vote in all 3 elections voted against him. He never cracked 50%.
Cumulatively?
He never cracked 50%. He has no mandate.
You can say that about a lot of presidents.
To give preference to China over the president
it
of the
is
United
not.
States?
Say that about Bill Clinton.
Why should I believe that Donald Trump is telling the truth about anything at this point? How can our allies believe it? Who's going to enter into a deal with us after pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal, pulling out of Paris Accord?
30
After
countries
this,
are waiting to
we
do
can't even get
just
tourists
that.
to come anymore. People are deciding, you know what, this year I'll try North Korea. Tourists aren't coming here anymore. Nobody wants to be in
What is that
business with us because of
of?
this. But it's not
I
popular,
think
and he's not an honest man.
Fogelsang speaks truth to power, and I think he's really good at what he does. Notice how stupid that woman is. She's talking about the mandate. By the way, Democrats have not used that word. Joe Biden got a mandate. I don't recall one Democrat ever saying that, even though his victory was far greater than Donald Trump's victory in 2024. Notice how stupid that woman is. Notice when Fogelsang has said what I've been saying since the election, this is not a mandate. Donald Trump did not crack 50%. Less than 50% that went to the voter booth, less than 50% voted for Donald Trump. Same thing happened in 2016. Same thing happened in 2020. He's 150% correct. But yet Republicans want to call it a mandate when less than half the people that voted voted for Donald Trump. That's not a mandate. At least give me the majority. The majority did not vote for Donald Trump. That's not a mandate. And then you see her stupid reaction. Are you saying that Donald Trump didn't win? What? He wasn't saying that. Democrats aren't saying that. What we're trying to do is try to explain to idiots like you that this is not a mandate. It's not a mandate when less than half the people that go into a voter booth vote for Donald Trump. That's not a majority. That's not half. Okay? You don't have to be a math major to kind of figure that out. And she's so stupid, she doesn't even understand what he's saying because she's the idiot who uses the term mandate. And then she correlates that to what he said as, oh, are you saying Trump didn't win? No, he didn't say that, you dummy. God, these people are so stupid. It's not a mandate. He has the lowest approval ratings 3 months in office than any American president in our lifetime. Joe Biden was somewhere in the mid-50s, I believe 55% approval rating. George W. Bush was at 63%. Barack Obama was at 62%. Guess where Donald Trump is at now? 44%, the lowest approval ratings in the history of this country 3 months in office. There's a reason for that, because our economy is in shambles. Our egg prices continue to rise since day one, even though they might be down in the last 2 weeks. Who cares? They're not down 95% with what Donald Trump said. They're up since day one. Grocery prices have not gone down. Gas prices have not gone down. People are losing their jobs left and right. And now Elon Musk has given up after torturing people. He's just given up and he's walking away. I saved you $1 trillion. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. The White House is even saying it's $140 billion, which would be 14% of $1 trillion last I checked. And by the way, that's not even verified. So he's just walking away. I don't want to get in politics anymore. Yeah, well, apparently you don't want to be in politics anymore. You don't want to be a father either. You've never done that your whole life. This is not a mandate. The country is on fire in a bad way. We are more divided than we have ever been. And Donald Trump is one of the main reasons why and is responsible for this. And that has nothing to do with Joe Biden. That has nothing to do with Barack Obama or George Soros or DEI hires or minorities or documented or undocumented immigrants. It has everything to do with Republican policies because Republicans do not know how to govern, because they prove that every single time a Republican president is in office. It happened when Bill Clinton left, and he left us in a surplus, and then George W. Bush got us in an ill-advised war and destroyed the economy. And then Barack Obama took him 8 years to pick up the pieces, left Donald Trump a great economy. Look at what happened there. The whole country was locked down and people were losing their jobs. Oh, I know, Brian, you can't blame Donald Trump for COVID. Yes, I can. I can blame him for his response to it. 15 cases down to 0. It's going to be gone by Easter. He lied to the American people. He lied to you suckers out there. He said he was going to hire a special prosecutor to go after Hillary Clinton. He never did that. He said he was going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it. He never did that. And he lied to all of you suckers out there, you inbred imbeciles. He lied to all of you, and you believed it when he said the war was going to be over in 24 hours. How's that working out, Mr. President? How's that working out with China, too? President Xi won't even pick up the phone and won't even talk to you. How's that working out? How's that Israel-Palestinian conflict working out for you, Mr. President? You going to own Gaza? That's a great plan. His plan in Ukraine right now is to tweet on Truth Social, stop. That's his plan. It's funny, gas prices aren't lowered. Inflation didn't fix that problem, did he? The economy, the unemployment numbers, all seem to be headed in the wrong direction. It's not Joe Biden's fault. It's not Barack Obama's fault. It's Donald Trump's fault. But you MAGA Republican doofuses can still remain in the bunker with your Alzheimer's. Take off your Donald Trump knee pads before you go to bed. After you pleasure yourself to your Donald Trump poster, go to sleep, and then wake up in the morning and you still won't have more money in your bank account. Your stocks will still be tumbling. But go ahead and blame liberals and go ahead and blame Joe Biden. Go ahead and own the liberals. How's that working out for you? You dumb idiots. That's what you are right now. And I am, I said this the other day, and I'm going to say it again. I have never put every Trump supporter in the same category, but I'm going to do it now. If you voted for Donald Trump in 2024, and I'm only going to focus on that right now, and you can't admit he's doing a bad job and he's dangerous, and you can't admit that you made a mistake, and you can't admit that the first 3 months have been an absolute disaster, then you are an imbecile. I put you in the Marjorie Taylor Greene category. You are an imbecile. And you have no idea what's going on in this country right now. You're complicit. If you voted for Trump and you can't admit that you made a mistake now, if you voted for Trump and you like what's going on in this country, it's one of two things, right? You're either extremely stupid and ill-informed and you're in the cult, or you are informed and you know what the damage he's doing to this country, but you're selfish and you're somehow gaining from it. That's it. Either way, I don't care. You're all imbeciles, and I wish they would deport you all to Gaza right now. Do what Ron DeSantis did. Let's put you all on a bunch of planes with a bunch of brochures, give you a $20 gift card to a fast food restaurant, have a nice day, and don't come back. See how you like it when you don't have due process. You stupid idiots.